Hello, this is old Mr. Kent of MrKent.com, and I'm leaving on my e-bike on the longest ride I've taken since I got it last year. Actually, it's a 12-mile trip. I'm going 6 miles south of where we live and looking for a spot where according to Google Earth and to the map that they gave us, where the new Highway 12 is going to actually cross the canal. Because if you follow me on my earlier videos, we were afraid it was going to be on our side. But as it turns out, where it comes past our house, it's a couple miles away from our house on the other side of the canal. But also, it's, by the way, my wife said goodbye there to me. It's also a place where a railroad track crosses at the same place that they show the highway crossing the canal. And so I thought, well, I'm going to go down and see what it looks like, and maybe it'll be a good place to get my videos. This is the route that we're taking. I start up at the very top, and you can see the brown lines. That's because I'm going slower, and that's because I'm on these dirt roads. But once I get onto a paved road, then I can go up to 20 miles an hour or more. And so that's how come it turns out green. It shows me going faster. And by the way, when I got down to about the 3-mile mark on the vertical part, I ran into that traffic. And so I've decided next time I do this, it'll be wintertime, and I'll do it in the middle of the day. But there's some traffic that I was facing, and so it wasn't a very enjoyable bike ride. But it will be when I try it in the middle of the day. So we're going to take off here and climb up to a couple hundred feet. There's high tension wires, high voltage tension wires, and they're all over. There's a menagerie of them, as you will see as we go along further here. And the black colored poles are the one that I should remember to follow home, okay, to the home point. But you'll see that doesn't turn out to be the case. So as we go along here, there's the map that they show the railroads crossing the canal, and the highway is crossing the canal right in that same point. And here's the path that we're taking. I took off over there at the bend in the road, and then we're going to go up here and we're going to make a left turn. Remember that. And there is where the railroad crosses the canal, and just at about the same place is where the highway is going to cross the canal. So as we go along here, I think I'll tell you a story about my dad, if you don't mind. He was a super guy, and when I was a little kid, we lived in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and that was the house we lived in. There was no trees, no bushes. It was a new house, and it was on just a dirt lot, and across the street from it was no houses at all, just dirt. And I was like, we left there when I was 4, so probably when I was 3 or so. If you look in the lower right-hand corner of the house there, you can see maybe that's where there's an opening into the basement. And that's because, well, I don't know if it's because of that, but anyway, I know my dad dug out the basement. And what he did, there was just a crawl space, and there was a little opening to the crawl space near the kitchen. And I remember that they opened that up, and he crawled down in there and started digging the basement. And by the time I was lowered down in, after he got quite a bit dug, he had a wooden ramp that came up to that opening, and then he had a wooden wagon that was attached to a rope, and he'd fill it up with dirt, and then he'd pull the wagon up, pull it across the street to the vacant lot, and dump the dirt there. And by the time I got to see it, it seemed to me like he had quite a bit done. Now, I don't know if he ever finished it or not, because we left in 1946. He was transferred to Seattle area and to work at Boeing Field for United Airlines. So anyway, here we are, and I found the railroad track I was looking for. And it doesn't look like it's used too much, but it's called the Magma Arizona line, if you noticed on the map. And bush grown in the middle of it there. Anyway, So that's the railroad track that crosses the canal at roughly the same place that the highway will cross. And then as you see here, there's a switching station. It's not finished, but it's there by the power company, maybe for future expansion or something. So as the highway comes down the track there, it's not going to be able to go on this side, because right straight ahead of us is where the railroad crosses the canal. So it doesn't look like the road's going to come on this side of where the crossing is. But if you look out there, you can see there's a lot of vacant land, open land. And so my guess is that it's going to cross on the other side of the crossing where the railroad crosses and come down on that side. And so that's my guess. But according to what the chart or the map shows, it's just a little bit off where it crosses the canal. It's a little bit off to the right of where the railroad crosses. Of course, it's not a real accurate map, but it kind of gives you an idea. And of course, so there's plenty of room out there ahead of us, up above in the picture there, and there it is right there. And you can see that if you look close, although it's not accurate, but you can see that the highway is going to be off just a little bit to the right of where the railroad track crosses the canal. So this is the canal that runs near our house. It's about a 3/4 of a mile away from our house, and it runs all along from way up north. It's called the Central Arizona Aqueduct. It runs from way up north. It comes down, and you can see those white poles there. Those are the ones that run that are next to it way up where we live, 6 miles north. Now I want you to notice something, because for the rest of this video you're going to realize how old and forgetful old Mr. Kent's getting. So remember the railroad track? We followed the railroad track up to the canal, but we had to come up that road there on the right and turn to go up the railroad track. Well, and I was following the black power poles. Well, so I just missed my turn because I'm following the railroad track, and I don't know if it's because, when you go back, it's always faster going home than it is going up. Maybe I'm thinking it's going to come up here where I'm going to turn, or maybe I forgot about the turn. I really can't tell you, except that I've got the video speeded up here because I flew and flew and flew and flew, and was looking down at the end thinking that's the home point, that's where I'm standing, and that's where I'm going to land a drone. But that wasn't the case, and as you can see here in just a second, we'll bring up the screen recording, and down at the bottom you can see that I'm getting further and further away from the home point, and I had been watching it, and of course now it shows me getting further away. Well, when I was riding my bike, I had the app on my phone was having trouble getting a good GPS coverage, and so I'm thinking, well, maybe GPS is just kind of messed up. Of course, and being a pilot, you're supposed to trust your instruments rather than your brain. But I'm looking down there now, and I can see that that's not where I'm supposed to be. I'm looking at something that isn't my intersection with the cars going by. That's actually where the railroad meets up with the Union Pacific line, and so I'm way off base. Now, at one point, somewhere right about in here, I'm going to get told something by the little lady on the app.
Battery level is low.
And of course, I just click on cancel because I think I know where I'm going here. It's probably off to the right a little bit, and I start looking, and I'm looking for the bend in the road where I turned off. It's not there. Finally, I decide I think I better just go ahead and do a return to home. Now, this flight from here over to where I'm standing is only about a 3-minute flight, but it was the longest 3 minutes of my life because the battery was low, and I was getting warnings. And you can also see that I was facing the wrong way. I was facing up the road. As you'll see as we come along here, I was facing up the road with my antenna, because I thought, before this point, I thought, wow, it's up this road somewhere. Well, it wasn't. So I'm coming home, and everything turned out okay. I want to thank you for watching my video, and God bless.